I was sitting here thinking. I've been staying to myself, meditating to myself, going within myself, and just listening to the voice inside of myself. And I had a realization, man, the other day, and I've been thinking about it for a couple of days. And the realization that I had was how much men really love women. And I say that because when I look at the MGTOW community and I look at the content that's being created, it's always about women. And when I think about it from that sense, they have a lot of people who say they out the game, they never doing this again, they never getting a relationship again, they never having dealings with females again. But then the only thing that ever gets talked about is women. And when I think about that, I think about how it is when someone has gotten out of a relationship, or a relationship has dissolved, and then all they do is talk about their ex, even if it's in a negative context, or even if it's saying all the things they didn't like about them, or just constantly bringing their name up or whatever. That is a surefire sign that they have not gotten over that person and they still love that person. So when I look at that, and I look at the stuff that constantly gets talked about in the MGTOW community, when I really look at what the MGTOW community is, it's like a therapeutic environment for people who have not gotten over unsuccessful relationships with women that they really loved. And it's a way of coping with the failures. Because as much as I would like to believe, and I believe that everyone else that makes this type of content would like to believe, that there are no people in good relationships out there. There are no women who treat people good and are good to their men. That's not reality, man. Because I know some people who are in what I would classify as decent relationships, and looking at myself making this stuff and looking at this stuff was a way for me to cope with the bad decisions that I made when it came to choosing a member of the opposite sex for me to open up to, for me to let into my life, and for me to try to formulate a bond and a relationship with that other person. And I'm going to take a chance right here in saying this, and I'm going to say it about me, and I'm going to take a chance when saying it about other people who are watching these things, making these things, doing these things. I know in my case, and I'm going to take a guess right here, in everybody else's case, there were definitely some red flags whenever you was dealing with whoever these chicks are that drove you to come to this fellowship or community or whatever you want to call it. I know in my situation there was always red flags that popped up right at the beginning of dealing with any of these women, or whatever the woman was that brought me into this community. So with that being said, I am going to direct my channel in a very different direction. I'm no longer going to talk about female nature. I'm no longer going to talk about, you know, the dynamics of relationships between men and women. I'm not going to talk about, you know, any of the stuff that I used to talk about anymore. I'm going to talk about things that really matter. You know, because I look at it like this. If you're consistently focusing on a problem, you're never going to get past the problem. And what I've come to realize about myself is I was the problem. And there's nothing I can do to fix what's on the opposite end of this coin. There's nothing I can do to change what's going on in society. There's nothing I can change what's going on with relationships. There's nothing I can change when it comes to dealing with other people. The only thing that I have the ability to change is what's going on the inside of me. And I believe that by changing what's going on the inside of me can change what's going on the outside of me. You know, because as much as I would like to sit here and blame women for the condition of the dynamics between men and women, I'm going to tell you like this here, man. When I look at things from my point of view and from my aspect, I look at it like this. We live in an age of information where everybody has information on everybody. Everybody can know anything about anybody. You could go on Google. You could get information about anything, anyone, anywhere, anytime. And from the magnitude of information that we have about things, and from what we see other people saying and doing and happening and dealing with and talking about and all that kind of stuff, you know, both people come into an interaction with each other in the beginning thinking that the other person ain't shit. And what I mean by that is, in the generation we live in, women think men ain't shit. Men think women ain't shit. We go into it with that attitude, and then we wonder why things turn out the way it turns out. So I'm just going to take responsibility for myself. And I've been doing some different things, man. I've been talking to some guys. I got an interview on my channel tomorrow. It's about ascension past all of this kind of stuff and what, you know, can be done to get past the surface level stuff that's going on. Because I believe until you fix what's going on the inside, you can't fix what's going on the outside. And if I continue to focus my energy and my efforts on the problem, you know, I'll never fix what the real problem is, and the real problem is me. So I'm gonna take my channel in a different direction. It's not gonna be about women anymore. You know, it's not gonna be about that kind of stuff. It's gonna be about a whole different, you know, subject matter, and hopefully it'll open some people's eyes and open my eyes to the larger picture and the bigger picture of what's really going on out here, and give some practical information and some practical solutions of what the individual can do to become the best version of themselves, and to learn to live with themselves and within themselves, instead of always looking outside for the answer to the riddle, when the answer to the riddle doesn't lie anywhere but inside. So that's what I'm gonna do. I know this might send some people in a different direction, but I'm just trying to do what's best for me and what I think is best for society and for humanity. So that's the direction my channel is gonna go in, and I hope that y'all can continue with me on this journey and begin your own journey into moving past and moving beyond what we perceive as the problem, and moving into what the solution is, and the solution is within you. So I appreciate y'all, man. That's all I got.